information officers and basically just sit down somewhere to write results. The show, the optics you see, all of those things you see where votes are counted is just look at what even the ruling of Edo State said about the primaries that was conducted. He just said that, look, from the results you guys have presented before me, it's clear as daylight that you guys sat somewhere and wrote the results. You see, President Buhari has said it. The senators are saying it. Leaders of thought have said it, that look, as far as local government elections are concerned, that arrangement of SIEC is a complete nullity and a complete waste of time. And even the suggestion of means that, look, maybe we should stop even conducting elections. Let's just have a situation where the government we're wasting money.
We'll just wait and see what is going to happen
in Lagos State. You know, elections are coming. Abi? Of course. The infighting, the politicking, where have we been here? Is it not within the APC? Because they know that immediately the party nominates you.
You are okay.
You are home and dry.
You are okay.
You forget. So again, we are hoping that our politicians will understand that, look, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. I mean, all of this suffering, lack of development at the grassroots level, is actually pitching the people. Nigeria hangs by the cliff, and I know what I'm saying.
Okay.
You see, because we are getting to a point where people are getting tired. I don't want to sound alarmist.
Let's take this conversation. I don't want you to get tired at all side, because sincerely speaking, we'll continue to talk about this matter so that people will be well educated and informed about everything happening when it comes to this local government election. Now we already have another election coming up in Delta State.
Yes.
Now, according to the story, a peace accord has been signed by all the political parties involved. Now, I don't have an issue with the peace accord being signed. What I have an issue with, because for what they said so far, they don't want a situation whereby there's going to be a back and forth, hate speech being used, going to social media, trying to troll one another, and all of that. With all of this sensitization, how much has been done in terms of letting the people know, educating the people, understanding the ideology of our political parties, so that whether we win or we lose, we don't go to the street. Now, we all know what happened during the last election, plus the general election and the governorship election, where some persons were not even allowed to come out to vote. Some persons were threatened to vote. Some persons were told that if you come out to vote, this is what is going to happen to you. Now, even on social media, it was out there. Yet people went to sign the peace accord. So it appears as if this peace accord is overrated, because eventually you get to see something different.
The peace accord is again one of the things we do here. We do things for the sake of just doing it. We are not really committed to anything. It's more of what I call motion without movement. Because they are doing it, just go and do it. Why do you even have to sign a peace accord, really? Why have our elections become something like a war? Where people go out, steal ballot boxes. Look, how many countries? I think about 20-something countries will be having elections this year.
Yes.
The UK have just done their election.
France?
You saw how peaceful.
France is up on running on it.
France, yes.
No,
they've had their own elections
so far.
The US is coming up sometime in November.
Absolutely.
And I think so many other elections. I think Italy also will have an election. So many countries.
Ukraine did their own peacefully.
So if you look at those elections, what did you see? People went there, voted, votes were counted within 24 hours, results were announced. People that won, people that lost, congratulated the winners, because in those places,
Sunak left 10 Downing Street the evening of the day he lost.
Held his wife like this,
and those are elections at the highest level.
As the other man came in,
straight up,
he came in
straight up.
And when he came in Okwemi, we didn't hear that.
He hit the ground running.
We didn't hear that the official cars are missing.
Or that they are using the
backlog
to recover the official cars.
Or they are removing the AC, the presidential wing.
Or we are going to now, we need to, the Prime Minister would have to first stay somewhere for some time, because we need to renovate. There's this word we use. We want to create a befitting place for the Prime Minister to function.
Even if it cost us 21 billion
taxpayers' income.
We just saw the man moving into 10 Downing Street and started work immediately.
Straight up.
So what I thought that 25 years of democratic experiment, we should begin to see things like that manifest.
The fitting of democracy.
That's what is called classic democracy, really, where, as you are losing election, you are congratulating the other person. You see situations where people go out on election day to vote. We see situations where we don't monetize and dollarize and begin to, buy votes. There's no thuggery. People understand that when you go there, you are going there to serve. France brought up one of the biggest upsets in elections.
Yes.
People are thought that the far right were going to take
Thought
one.
that
So people are
Macron
thought
was
that
on
it
his way out.
was so what I'm saying is that look, and the kind of democracy we decide to people than the interest of the individuals, people who better by who conclude tell you a different reality.
Okay.
And so what they tell you is that we are everybody is suffering, we have to manage now, things are tough and all of that. But when you try to peep, something you happen at the speed of light. You don't wait. You keep telling us to wait. So you now have them fencing the people that are supposed to be the major beneficiaries of democracy out of reckoning. And so it's always excuses.
The people who voted you into
look
office.
at what we have now with fuel scarcity. We have been inundated with excuses. There's always a template. Either they tell you there's panic buying, or there's a problem with logistics,
or there's artificial
scarcity, or the depot owners. So there's always a waiting excuse for inefficiency, for avoidable suffering of the people. So again, I'm not in. You see, it's just that we have to do the show. When it comes to local government elections, I'm not excited. In fact, as a journalist, I'd rather not even cover that event. Because I know that
I actually covered one.
You will do the job. I'm just saying I will.
3 years ago,
because
I covered one.
Me going there to cover the event.
What it means.
For me, it's just it's
almost
like
like staying in a place and telling them to send results to you.
It's better. So that at the end of the day, just what's the result? These are people that want. Okay, congratulations. We move on with our lives. So it is an unfortunate situation. What we found ourselves in. The way we decide to run a democracy, and let me tell you, that's the reason why nothing gets done really practically.
So if it appears this way, that local government election and even getting a chairman and councillor into office is now looking like a waste of time, then what is the essence of the CGN fighting for the autonomy?
No, he has to do what he needs to do. I'm even surprised that it's the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is pushing this narrative, because
it should have been done a long time ago.
No, really. I'm saying that a lot of the things that we have now were done when he was even the governor of Lagos State. When the whole fight as to creation of LCDAs and what have you. But I think maybe you now understand, because I've seen President Bola Ahmed Tinubu now realizing that, look, until we have proper grassroots governance,
development will not be felt.
No matter the monies, because it keeps referring to the governors.
Yeah.
If you notice, for any time he talks,
hold your governors accountable.
He keeps talking about the governors. I've given them what is due to them.
Yeah.
We have now more revenue that we share. This thing is going down. Go and hold your governors. He was talking about our Greek recently, and he said that, look, the governors know what to do. We can partner with them. But I know that in his mind, and I'm sure that anytime the president sits back quietly to reflect on governance and what has happened to him in the
interesting conversation around local government and the administration of same in Nigeria is tough. And just like Said and Victor said, until we have a grip of what happens at the local government level, development would be really, really far from the people. I mean, it's difficult. Some people will probably never see their presidents in their entire 4 years or 8 years. Some people would never get to see their governors. But ideally, I should be able to knock on the door of my local government chairman and say, hey, what's happening with this 4-kilometer road? What's happening with the market in the local government? What's happening with these collapsed bridges linking two communities together? I think we're even still seeing some flashes of involvement at the local government level down south. You need to go to the other regions in this country. You need to go to the southeast. You need to go to the north. You see that local government is almost non-existent in these areas. And I think our governors need to take responsibility and make some good progress from here. So, we're just moving around. And then this time around, side forward, yesterday, the president announced his decision to create the Ministry of Livestock Development. But before then, he also talked about the creation of the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reforms. The president is going to chair the committee himself and the former chairman of INEC. Yeah. But when the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua came up, the first thing he did, I'll give you work. We'll work on the degradation at that hotel. Had Port Harcourt address on it. So I asked a couple of friends, and they're like, "You can't dig borehole in Bayelsa.
Yeah, you're going to be getting.
You are digging crude.
Yeah,
they can't go to the farms anymore. They institutionalized. So the kidnappings reduced. The vandalization also reduced. Yeah. There seems to be, in fact, contracts were given to known."
Former militants,
repentant militants to guard some of the facilities. So it's coming up with this new ministry. How divided the development right now? Or we need to go back to the, does it look like there's a solution coming? And maybe when you're done with this question, I will link it to the food crisis that we have in this country right now. How almost about 11 states are battling with severe food crisis, with inflation rolling over 40%, one of the worst we've had since the Civil War. Do we really need this ministry right now? Aside from
it comes to farmers, certification, whether anybody you have urinary grass. So it's the issue of how do we change narrative when it comes to animal husband. Open grazing has to stop. Those are the things that brought up the conversations around the stop of what open grazing. That look, we should not have a country where people move their cattle around anyhow because
anywhere.
Look, why are they coming here, okay? It's because of the issue of nature, desertification. They don't have enough foliage, grass, and what have you to take care of their cattle. So they need to bring it down, and so you have the problem of open grazing. To stop the problem of open grazing, which is the problem around. You are bringing up to solve that problem. That development in. Are you actually telling committee that has just been set up? You know, by the report of the committee.
Before you know what's happening, that administration is gone.
It's gone. Okay, so are we saying that if we needed to really set up a committee, the way the president has set it up, we cannot tell a department, that department gets some quality people to come up with a template that will resolve this issue or create development for livestock in Nigeria. The third issue here again, where does this leave the plan implementation of the O괘ᴜ report that this administration has always talked about? Remember that in February, a committee was put up by this administration and given 12 weeks to come up with how that report will be implemented. They finished their work because it's 12 weeks. Whatever they've submitted is still gathering dust somewhere. I know the National Assembly is also considering. They also have set up a committee. You know this committee thing that we keep doing here. So you ask yourself, if the report in itself, it was supposed to be a piecemeal implementation of the report, because in itself you are going to implement what O괘ᴜ suggested. You probably, in fact, maybe we have like 10 or 15 ministries left. Here we have the largest cabinet ever. So you ask yourself, this creation of this ministry, how does it negate the spirit of what the government termed as an attempt to implement the O괘ᴜ report? If you understand. And then again, we are talking about bringing down the cost of governance, reducing governance cost and what, because you know what it means to run a whole ministry. A whole ministry. If you're going to run a whole ministry, it's not about just Abuja. They're going to have structures across
all of the 36 states, especially with the sensitivity of that particular ministry. Aside for sorry to cut you from here. You were talking about plans.
Yeah.
There's a national livestock transformation plan that was inaugurated in 2019 that was supposed to take us from 2019 to 2028.
Yes.
And what is basically supposed to do is to bring coordination to the operation, sustainability, and the stability of livestock management in Nigeria. That's the summary of the committee.
Yeah.
Are we also saying that this committee can also not function alongside maybe the units in the Ministry of Agriculture to also look for a permanent solution to this? Or perhaps this is the president bowing to some pressures from some quarters. Remember the reaction that followed the ranching bill past second reading, where some senators are saying you're going against the constitutional right of people to move around. And then people came out and say cattle are not people.
There was even a senator that said that, look, the rights for people to move around should be given to cattle. To move around.
And then the Senate president had to come out and say cattle are not Nigerians. The constitution does not recognize animals as Nigerians. Is this a way of the president saying, we all knew when the old North Central Commission was set up, even the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, we knew what it was supposed to do. Is that the same purpose that this ministry is also coming to solve, or you think it's going to give us the desired solution almost similar to what we have with the Niger Delta Ministry?
Okay, now, you talked about the Niger Delta Ministry, the Ministry of Niger Delta. Remember that ministry was created as a result of the agitation. We are being marginalized. The bulk of the resources we use to develop the country is coming from that region,
and we're not getting
enough. there's oil spillage. We can't go to farm. We are fishermen. Our waters are polluted. Blah blah blah. There's no development, and that's the chick that lays the golden egg. That was the conversation, and at some point we all agreed that look, more has to go to the Niger Delta region because of the resources that comes from there. A ministry was created for them. 13% derivation was given to them. The NDDC was also created, all hoping that effort will bring some real development to the Niger. What's the story of the Niger Delta today? Can you beat your chest to say that look, the Niger Delta we have our regular 괶 Joshua who keeps telling us that look, the biggest thing that will ever happen to Niger Delta is the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Because he says, look, he's from Ondo State. There's no meaningful development. I was looking at FAC allocation for April, and I was looking at what the Niger Delta states were getting. Why some states were getting like 6 billion, some of them were getting as high as 30-something billion naira. But let us ask ourselves, even a small Bayelsa got, I think, about 28.something billion naira.
And there's nothing in those places side for us.
There's really nothing. So, is it about creating ministries, creating commissions, creating committees? You're going to put people there again, that are going to go there without any real commitment to nation building or even the development of their region. Do you know that was the same thing? That NDDC was the reason why the Northeast started their own agitation, and a Northeast Development Commission was also created. And what has been the significant progress and improvement? Today, the president has the largest cabinet. We created so many ministries. Some there were one, we broke them into 3. For example, in transportation, we created out of that the blue ocean and marine economy. When last have you heard from the ministry? What can you say are the tangible achievements of that ministry?
Sidebar, when was the last time you heard from the Minister of Agriculture and Food
Until recently. Until recently.
I want to even share my concern a bit.
I'm coming, Victor. So that's the concern. We've created so many ministries, and that's why people are saying that look, the president seems to be playing politics. Not my words now. What people are saying in some quarters, that it's looking as if the president just wants to compensate the political jobbers around him, the boys that worked for him, the guys that worked for him to emerge as president. So he needs to create more structure. Remember that power, steel, and which was the last one we were together? We separated it, solid minerals and steel. We have the Ministry of Steel Development. What has happened with that ministry? People don't know that there was a ministry created just for steel development in the country. What has that minister and that ministry been able to do? So what we are saying again, is that look, all of this is looking more like politics. Like you said, we already seen the possibility of, the president seems to be listening to some people who think that look, their rights already been eroded. What you call that entitlement mentality. You can't stop us from doing this. And you see that consistently. Some politicians from that part of the country have been telling the president that consequences for some of your decisions. In fact, I think recently the former senator from Kaduna State said that look, they're already piling up issues to use against you.
Yes.
That they are already
that gang up.
That there's this gang up. And what we are saying is that look, while we look at 2027, the politics of 2027, can we concentrate on the mandate of today? Can we also see politicians who say that look, I will do the right thing even if you don't vote for me in 2027? 4 years of is enough to make what you can call a legacy impact. You see, it's not we've had presidents who have spent 8 years. What legacy were they able to leave behind? So is it about the number of years you spend as president or the legacy and the impact you want to leave behind? But I'm thinking more. Maybe that's just a mere journalist. Okay. Maybe the politicians don't look legacy. They don't look at legacies. They want to stay there for as long as they want to stay.
Yes. Listening to you, we could hear a lot of things. The entitlement mentality that is coming from so many persons, and of course,
that's what people are saying.
A lot of persons believe that yes, the president needs to satisfy my persons and all of that. Now, with this all in the thought out, room, is there going to be a possibility of some other ministries now trying to come out? Now, let's not forget we have fishery and aquatic. We have, horticulture, or you want to call it plants. People who want to go into crops and all of that. Wouldn't they also come out and say, Mr. President, you need to set up a ministry for us as well, because we also have concerns as far as Nigeria is concerned?
Well, again, there was a lot of sarcasm this morning from me. When I said that, look, when this announcement was made yesterday, the first thing that came to my mind is that, look, I'm from Lagos State, and it's a state of aquatic splendor, and we have not been able to really harness the possibilities of fishery and aquaculture as a business, because again we are not probably getting enough support from the government. So if the livestock guys are going to be getting a whole ministry to develop livestock development, because again, when we talk about livestock, people are asking questions. What about people who do piggery? The piggery guys, the guys who, if you go to parts of Ogun State, there's a big pig farm there.
It's a lucrative business,
and it's a very so. Are they going to be part of this pig
development ministry?
Because if you now say, okay, this ministry will now look for land, or in all parts of the country for people who are going to be having ranches and cattle, and we don't know the operational model. The people who are doing piggery, which is part of livestock, would they also be part of?
Then
what are the people who are doing dogs?
Let me read a part of.
Dog is not part of it.
It's part of livestock. Let me read a part of the National Livestock Transformation Plan. Let me read a paragraph or two.
All right.
He said the establishment of the ranches would also improve the genetic merit of indigenous cattle for milk and meat production, and the reproductive performance of indigenous cattle.
Good.
Our cattle is known around the world, our dairy, even our meat and milk, as one of the poorest in terms of standard. In fact, there are a lot of countries that Nigerian dairies and meat are
even if you look at our cattle and other places where they do ranching, it's their own are slim, they look macheted.
Now, let me read this. He said the program would initially develop pilot ranches in grazing reserves in each of the 7 pilot states of Adamawa, Benue, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau, Taraba, and Zamfara, with 4 categories of ranches: small, intermediate, medium, and large. Now, why I decided to bring this is that the NLTP had captured every structure that can help us to end this issue. The government is going to buy land from the landowners and establish ranches at the small scale, medium scale, and large scale. Everything was captured in that particular document that was presented by the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in 2019.
And supposed to run all the way down to 2018.
2028. Why do we need a whole ministry side forward? Is this one of the reasons why you feel the president might eventually bow to the pressure of the people that are saying all of these decisions would have consequences? Now, if we have the Ministry of Livestock Development, there's going to be so much money going into that ministry.
Of course,
setting up the ministry
every year you have to make budget provisions,
operational cost, budget effectiveness, running
we know what it means to run a ministry.
Side forward, is our problem setting up ministries or implementing some of the policies that we have on ground? Why should we not go back to the NLTP? Why should we not go back to the conversation around ranching? If the people within the Senate are saying we don't want ranching, but the NLTP allows us or expects us to ranch, why are we not implementing the NLTP side forward? Why?
Again, we are scratching the surface. We are living in self-deceit. We know what the problems are. We are refusing to solve the problem. Because when I say we know what the problems are, you stayed in the north central part of the country and you know what the problem is. You know what the problem is.
I assume I do.
And you know that the reason why we are not solving that problem is that, look, we are not committed to solving it. Because in solving the problem, we'd have to really bring down the ego of some people. You have to step on toes. You have to bruise the entitlement mentality of some people. If you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
And we are not really. Again, because our politicians are always fixated on the next election. Oh, what is going to be the consequence of taking this decision? If I do this, in my calculations, what's going to happen? You understand? So, what we are now doing basically is to continue to deflect on the real issues and continue to create what I call a cosmetic approach to solving the problem. Whereas in
quick fixes,
it's not going to
quick paper over cracks.
It's just paper over cracks. Okay, that's why we are saying that, look, we have all manner of policy documents, but the question is, are we I told someone, I said, look, the Oronseyo report is not going to happen. Somebody said, it's going to happen. I said, it's going to happen.
There was so much excitement when that report came out.
They have a way of getting guys excited. They just throw things at you.
Sharp.
And then you say,
all 3 years today, now everywhere is talking about the livestock.
Everybody. Again, I think we need to get serious as a people Because people are going to come with the argument that it's there in Brazil, it's there in this, in that, and all of that. What we are saying is that look, you have to look at your own peculiarities, local peculiarities, really. The Ministry of Agri is a very big ministry. And we understand that, look, we need to focus more on some of these things, livestock, fishery. There's a lot that we can do, really, with agriculture. But what we were saying is that, look, if we are in a period where the government is talking about having no money, we are not even able to finance our budget, the deficit keeps going up. I think it's the NDDC now that is saying that they have a budgetary provision of 1.2 trillion naira. They will have to borrow 1 trillion to fund their budget. That's a commission, So if we have this problem, why are we creating more problem? Because what it now means that, look, if we are not careful, this Ministry of Livestock Development, when it comes on board, whatever budgetary provision we create for them, would have to borrow now.
Because the one we have on ground, we are still borrowing to fund them.
The capital composition of our budget, we are not able to run 10 to 15% of it.
Unfortunately.
So we are not. And I'm saying that for people who now think that there's nothing wrong, and I'm saying that if that's the way we want to think,
then every major problem now requires a ministry,
and that's why people are saying that, look, if we talk about what do we have now, somebody was even telling us this morning that we should create the Ministry of Building Materials. We can even create the Ministry of Auto Parts. It's a form of business. So we want to look at how to harness auto part development. We can talk about building materials.
Side forward, you're sounding like you want to go and defend the creation of this.
No, the one I'm interested in, and I'm serious about it. This is not sarcasm. This is not joking now. Is that I'm looking at fishery and aquaculture for my people in Lagos State. The Ekpe people, the Badagry people.
Side forward. Last week it was Atlantic States. Now you have come up with ministry.
I have to defend my own people too. Look, the 𝐴𝑇 people are already celebrating.
Yes,
I think that was the state of Etiti State.
If we get Ministry of Fishery and Aquaculture, the riverine community, riverine states will celebrate and congratulate the president, since that's what we want.
Because they are happy about the Ministry of Livestock Development.
They know, because there are going to be budgetary provisions, money that are going to come in. At the end of the day, I'm saying that, will this ministry solve the real problem? The problem you and I know, some of them we cannot even bring on radio.
We can't.
The reality is that some of these issues we can't even talk about it on radio because of how sensitive they are.
The truth is that I'm tempted to ask Said for her to just, tell us a little bit about transparency and accountability, because from everything you're saying so far, it is obvious that this is truly missing in our system. And if only, those in power, those in government, those in politics will understand the gravity of what they have created, they'll begin to sit up and ensure that there is transparency and accountability in everything they're doing. Because we see no reason why somebody would just sit down somewhere and be so excited that, yes, we have something, whereas we know that eventually it's going to cost this country a whole lot. Okay, well, we're going to be fine, like
the transparency. Maybe I think you guys have on the menu the issue of the oil sector.
We are coming to that one. We are coming to that. But maybe we should. Let's talk some politics. Let's talk some politics. Because that one is even a different conversation on its own. Every single year, our electionary calendar has been altered now. Every single year, there are off-cycle elections. Last year, we had, despite the old pressure of the general election in February and March, on the 11th of November, we had in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa.
3.
Now this year, apart from the by-elections that we've had, by September and November, there will be off-cycle elections in Edo first and in Ondo. Now, let's talk about the Edo conversation, Victor. There was a judgment last week, and I saw a video of the former the impeached deputy governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu, celebrating that judgment that nullified the PDP primaries. And now the PDP, as expected, I've gone to court to challenge that judgment. Lead us into that conversation.
The interesting thing about that story again is that not just Comrade Peter Shaibu that was seen celebrating, Philip Shaibu, thank you very much, that was seen celebrating. Now there was another video that trended, and I think the Edo PDP Youth League saw that video about their national chairman Sir Dan Obie, that they also said he was also celebrating. They was seen celebrating. Now the National Working Committee of the PDP, they are considering to carry out some disciplinary action against the vice chairman, or rather the national chairman, for celebrating as well as others. But this is where my question is, because yes, they've gone to, to the Federal High Court, and they've also appealed against that judgment. Even before then, they said that they are going to stand behind their candidates, talking about the billionaire 𝐻𝐴 that no matter what happened, he is still their flag bearer, is still their candidate. They said that with their full chest. Now they've gone to the courts, they've tendered everything, they've said everything about that. But then within the PDP, there is internal wrangling. Now, before we come to the issue of them going to the courts, and appealing against that judgment, let's talk about the internal wrangling. Now, the reason I brought up this conversation, side forward, is if you remember very well, before the general election, the presidential general election that brought out the candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, there was internal wrangling, which made the G5 in the person of the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, and the other guys talk about the Benue State governor, the Oyo State himself. Now, all of these guys came together and they were against it. Now, according to what they said, these were party activities that they don't find interesting or sweet at all in any way, because it was working against all of the party activities, all of the party ideologies. Now come to what is currently going on in Edo State. This is similar to what happened back then. And for me, I think that if they do not put their house in order, what is the essence of trying to go and vie for a position when you do not settle your internal disputes?
Now, our politicians have their ways of doing things. I'm sure a lot of them, when they listen to John, they just say, what's this one say? They play the game the way they want to play.
What they will do is inside them.
They will just do but I like that sometimes they get a bloodied nose from the courts. But a lot of time when they do all of these shenanigans, the courts will just sit back
and watch.
And
they are bringing it to us.
We've had it in the past. For example, when the APC fought themselves to a standstill in Rivers State, they were not able to produce a candidate.
Even in Zamfara,
they fought themselves, while the courts were just and until they lost out, they were not even able to prove, So we're not new to politicians deciding not to do the right things. The case of the PDP in Edo State, I think the last time on this issue I said that, look, it's too dangerous to begin to have court verdicts like this very close to election of Payemi and Victor.
That's about 3 months.
Because the problem is this. You don't even know where the pendulum will swing. I've been seeing people giving all manner of coloration, analysis, explanation to the court verdict. The decision of that court was very clear.
Very clear.
There were some delegates that were supposed to be part of that premise. About 378 of them.
They were not part
of it. And because of that, I am nullifying the process that brought about the candidature of 𝐻𝐴 as a PDP candidate. Now, people are saying, for example, the PDP, the legal advisor is saying that, look, it was the process that was nullified,
not the candidacy.
And I said that, look, how do you nullify?
How do you nullify a process and not touch the beneficiary of that process?
Whereas I've seen it as a booby trap for their party. Because the judge was so very careful not to touch the result in itself. But he's telling you that, look, the process that produced you is faulty, and because it was faulty, there were delegates that were supposed to be part of it. I am nullifying that entire process.
So there's no way to not affect the outcome of that process.
Now somebody said, okay, but the PDP has said it's nothing really. The candidate is the candidate. They have not nullified their candidate. But somebody asked, why are they now appealing? If you are saying the judgment does not nullify the candidature of 𝐻𝐴, they should not have sat back and participate in the election and let us see what the consequence will be for them legally. But they are appealing because they know that, look, the candidature of 𝐻𝐴 of the PDP in Edo State is on the line if they are not careful. And how did all of this start, 𝐴? You have a governor basically that just wants to impose somebody on his party. That's just what was happening. We saw how Godwin Obaseki, the governor, the man that said they don't know be Lagos, I suddenly picked the gauntlet, the same gauntlet of godfatherism in Lagos, and just basically wants to replicate the script. We saw what he did to Philip Shuaibu. I said it at that time. People talked about, there's this silent agreement that is now the turn of the Edo Central. I say, fine. But even if it's the turn of the Edo Central,
allow everybody to be
involved. Let people come. Look, we've talked about the powers of the governor. I still feel that within the PDP in Edo State, Obaseki could have allowed Philip Shuaibu to participate.
And there are ways of doing this thing.
Oh my goodness! Can Philip Shaibu outspend the governor?
How?
Because we know the way we play politics.
How? He's been staff of fun for months.
And that's why people say that sometimes if we talk about godfatherism, maybe people need to come and learn how it's done in Lagos. That they do it continuously for how many years now without any crisis.
How is Lagos doing it?
I don't know. They will go and learn. Because what I'm saying, Okwemi, I thought that, look, maybe Philip Shaibu comes into the closet with you as a governor and say, you know what, Philip, you've been a fantastic subordinate. You've done a lot of job for me, but I have a different idea of who to succeed me. And if he says, no, I want to be part of the process, okay, fine, let's run the race. I still feel that, look, if Philip Shaibu would still not have been able to defeat the candidate of the governor, even if he was allowed to participate. You look at what happened. Even hold a press conference, to do a press conference, the hotel he paid for was locked just 1 hour to when he was going to have the press conference. We saw how the governor could not even shake him in public. We saw how his office was moved from the government house
to an outskirt.
We saw how he was intimidated, he was embarrassed. You know, these are people, and that's why some of us are worried as to this idea of state police. That if people like this are behaving this way,
and then they have the state machinery of security.
Look at the governor of Niger State, Bago, that told somebody to slap somebody in front of the cameras. So again, I think Edo PDP needs to be very careful. They have to be very careful. People have, everybody's not a lawyer. When it comes to court verdicts, now you have different interpretations. I will never pretend to be a lawyer, but Okwemi, what is written in simple English should not confuse anybody unless you want to begin to be hypocritical about it.
Okay.
The reality of Okwemi, Victor, is that, look, people have said that the law says that if you are never part of a primary, you can never question the primary.
That is exactly what I'm about to read up here now.
I know now. I see different interpretations that, look, you can't challenge an election if you were never part of the people that contested. Blah, blah, blah. But
they were just delegates.
Whether the PDP eventually wins at the appeal court or the Supreme Court, time will tell. But my mind tells me that they have to be careful, and it is dangerous to have litigations like this when elections are coming and they are too close. We've seen it in the past where parties have. Okay, I mean, remember that even in Rivers State, how Rotimi Amechi became the governor without participating in the election. Primary. You know, it started with the way the primary of the PDP was conducted. The one that was said to have K-leg. So I hope that will not have a situation where the PDP will contest. They will win. There will not be a court verdict that will tell you that, look, you won, but you are not actually going to be the. How did Imo, the fourth person, how did number 4 became governor? It's part of the process. All of these things that politicians do without following due process. So for Edo PDP, as much as we wish them well and other parties in the elections, I think that they need to be careful to have court cases like this. When elections are very, very close, it could smell doom for them at the end of the day.
But I want to talk about this other angle of this conversation in terms of the judiciary and their interpretation. A lot of times that, it has been called to question, a lot of questions in terms of interpretation. Maybe it's because our constitution gives that opportunity. When something doesn't go your way, you can go to court, like they would normally say. But in terms of the interpretation, what will you say about the different interpretations we get? From this Court of Appeal to the Federal High Court to the Supreme Court, of course, that's the apex court. That's where it ends. But in terms of the interpretations, the character of the judiciary is called to question. What have you got to say about this?
Well, a lot of issues, okay. I mean, because again, on this issue of, I think Edo State, there was this problem of the CTC. Again, there were questions as to whether the certified true copy had, things that were at variance with what was read out. The classic case has to be the case of Kano. Where a judgment that was read, you completely at variance with the one that was made available. We know we have a problem with our judiciary, no doubt about that. And even senior officers in the judiciary have admitted to the fact that, look, there's a problem of corruption. Again, it's still our politicians. They will not allow these judges to rest. They keep disturbing them. Of course, we can't forget what Senator Bukachua said about the wife who was former president of the appeal court. Our politicians were always coming to give pressure and all of that. So we know that, look, there are problems within the judiciary. But again, our legal system is so robust, so it gives you different levels to be able to seek redress. If you are not happy at this level, you go to the next level, and then eventually you end it at the Supreme Court. So we can't say it's all doom really for us as far as legal interpretation of our laws are. But I'm just saying that, look, our politicians are the reason why. Do you know the problem with having too many political cases in court? Do you know that our judges can't even attend to civil matters again? Because most of these cases have to be expedited. They have to quickly attend to political cases. So you have situations where normal cases are in court. They last there for years.
And some of these judges will still be assigned to handle tribunal cases.
Because our politicians who are supposed to follow simple rules and regulations of doing these things will just refuse not to do the right thing. But I'm saying that at the end of the day, our legal system is subject to all manner of reforms. We've talked about the need to reform the judiciary. I agree. But at the end of the day, too, our politicians are the reason why some of these cases are not supposed to even get to court if they do the right thing. I've just told you, why did Obaseki not allow Shuaibu to participate? Let him participate. You are the governor. You have a better.
You have the whole machinery. Let him get involved.
This 378. What's it called?
Delegates.
Are you saying the governor could not have brought them in to vote for his candidate?
Even though it's not the right way to do things, but we all see all of these things.
But this
allow him to get involved.
This character of trying to say no, whatever I want to do is what I would do. I'm the governor.
You play God.
You can't play God on everybody.
You can't. You surely can't. Well, thank you very much. In case you're just tuning in, you're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is Midweek Politics. We get to do these every Wednesdays rather, from 1 to 3 p.m. alongside all our other political and current affairs program, beginning from Sunday 6 to 8 p.m. Said Fuad and his League of Extraordinary Gentlemen coming to take you through the world of politics, and every single day of the week from Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. would always take you into the situation room to focus on reign matters, especially those that affect our existence as a people in our constant quest for the demands of dividends of democracy. We decided to give you this 120-minute every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. So that we can take you beyond the surface of everything you get to read on your regular newspapers. You get in-depth analysis, conversations that you probably don't think, oh, so these things could actually be thought this way. That's exactly why you have Victor Achibong, Said Fuad, and myself every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. We'll have to open the conversation, and it's going to be a whole lot of messages to be read to this Said Fuad and Victor. So we'll have to share. We're streaming live on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. Victor will handle the messages on Facebook. I'll take your calls and also read some of your text messages here. 0913-600-0410. Please, let's try and be as brief as possible. On the show today, we've talked about the decision of the president, or the announcement of the president, to set up the Ministry of Livestock Development. We'll start this conversation majorly with the issue of local government. Why are we struggling with this true nature of independence or autonomy of the local government? We've also talked about the political boah that is happening in Edo State PDP. The judgment that nullified the process that brought in the PDP candidate in Mr. Answe Ighodalo, and now the PDP in the state had gone to challenge that judgment. Although the national chairman of the national police secretary of the PDP, Mr. Debo Logun, actually came out to say that that's just a distraction, they will come over it. But if you look at what happened in Zamfara, Said Fuad made reference of the case in Rivers State, you understand the fact that issues like this cannot be left undecided. Because if you go into the election, they will tell you that the faction that presented the election is not the faction that's supposed to present the primary result, and they will go on and on like that. So you join us on 0913-600-0410. We pick your calls, read your messages side by side, and then we'll have your thoughts on this conversation. Let me start with you for my first caller on the show today.
You're
welcome.
Yes, I'll be very. Let me start from this. We are looking at I will still respond to your comment because you are coming 6 o'clock. Out of the 3 people we are looking to win the ballot deal, 2 are out of it. So we are looking at the remaining one this evening. So I wish that it's straight through. But come to the issue of another thing. That Padiodu came to Alagbole Akuchi on Monday. Yes. So the other time I also mentioned that the road was very bad when one of their the people that work with him when you invited it to the studio or when you are on phone.
That was his special advisor on media and publicity. Yes.
Yes. So that the governor said was at Alagbode 2 days ago, and a change is going to be on that environment. So you also use the opportunity to draw into your local area there so they can do it for you. Okay. Looking at the issue of today, truly we did not have people who want to lead us. The new ministry that the president is trying to create, we did not need of. I said the other time, when this issue of Oresfanye report was brought again and the race committee, we did not need the committee. If the man who had the dream wanted to do his job, truly, there will not be a committee for him to set up. He could have had the right people in his back of mind that will fix the economy of this nation and everybody will be enjoying. Even though we should spend over a year now, what is he going to do the remaining 3 years? And the 2027, they are looking at the northern and the only problem we have, the INEC and the Supreme Court. If the INEC can do the needful job and the lawyer, at the end of the day, we will have people that will lead us. But those states, I wish them the best of luck.
Thank you very much. From 0913-600-0410. Talk to us. Let's have your thoughts. Let's have your contribution to the key conversations we've had on the show today. James Ogbona from Oshodi is texting, and it says, "Distinguished gentlemen in the studio, I greet you. Mr. Fuad, I want my president to also create Ministry of Fishing and Ashwebi materials for those in the southwest, spare part and automobiles development for those in the southeast, and oil and bunkering for the south people in order to solve the problem of illegal oil bunkering and insecurity in these regions. For this new ministry that was created, Mr. Fuad, I want to ask, would the ministry have a secretariat? Will they have a minister, permanent secretaries, directors, departments, and agencies, or just one small office? Who will be the civil servants there? But I don't think it may need state structures because not every ministry at the federal is replicated at the state level." Thank you very much there. This one is coming from Steve Mwambweze all the way from Badagry, and it says, he's saying hello to everyone in the studio. For the new Ministry of Livestock, it is just politics. It's unfortunate that we have someone we call a great politician in Nigeria, but unfortunately he's not a great leader. He plays politics with everything, and may God save us in this country. For Edo State, I'm not from Edo State, neither am I a PDP member. I'm not even a politician, but let's watch and see. Aswa Godalo will not only remain in the PDP candidate, he would win the Guba election in the state. Politicians would always do their things. Okay, still taking messages now. This one is coming from Tochukwu Adele Thompson from Obanikura, and it says, it is right that it is just to win election again in 2027 and capture the political system, just like Fuad had articulated, and this will mean erection of many more agencies, commissions, parastatals, and more budgeting allowances, oligarchical structure, plus concomitant employment of government workers that can't be paid monthly as little as 100,000. Okay, look, it was in a security intelligence given the president by his advisors that informed the creation of the livestock ministry instead of fighting them to perform. It is also part of the ambition of the North to become more equal than the South since the creation of the Niger Delta ministry. Ask Sheikh Gumi if he did not create it, they could finance his impeachment or coup against him, especially now. Okay, this is I don't know that one. This one is Kayode from Ikotsu, and it says it's quite unfair that the Hanas would forcefully take over the farms and farmers' farmland. The world had grown beyond cattle rustling, so they need to upgrade to the world system of raising cattle. Well, there's no iota of truth about the current approval of Ministry of Livestock Development. Fuad, you're right that those rearing pigs should also be included, especially the people of Badagry zone.
It's livestock too.
Yes, it's part of livestock. More messages. This one is Prince from Ojo, and it says, wow, Prince message comes in like a chart. There are always so much. When it comes to the North, it is done with utmost speed and dispatch, but others it keeps dragging. How do we expect peace to reign in this country now? Where is justice, equity, and fairness? Cow and large-scale animal rearing is the business of the North, the Fulanis in particular. How does the government support the peculiar businesses of other tribes, like spare parts dealers, drug production, and manufacturing? This is the way and manner of hard-earned income, especially the crude oil revenues, recklessly and lopsidedly spent by the government. Repentant members of the Boko Haram are pardoned, released, and reintegrated into the mainstream of our society. But Nnamdi Kanu, a freedom fighter, is kept in custody, incarcerated for no justifiable reason. How can there be peace? That's Prince from Ojo. What about the Southeast Development Commission and creation of more states in the South?
You know, there's that conversation on the table today.
Yes,
the
very,
Southeast,
very big on the table.
And if that happens, there will be Southwest Development Commission conversations.
Everybody.
The North Central also want the Development Commission.
The North Central has passed first reading.
So
it has passed
that's
first
what I'm
reading.
saying. So in the Southwest too, why not? Lagos also want a special status.
Hello, good evening. Good afternoon.
It's not a good.
Good afternoon for her.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
It's clearer now.
Victor.
Yes, good afternoon. You're welcome.
Yes, my name is Don Peters.
Yes.
I'm calling from my office here in Lɪධᴇ.
All right.
Okay, I would like to speak on the new ministry. But before that, there is something I would like to bring to you people's notice. So I don't know how you people can help me and help the entrepreneurs in Nigeria. For that, on Friday last week, I bought RMB for 208.5. That was on Friday. On Saturday, I need to do another transaction, and it has to be 210. On Monday, I bought 211.5. This morning, I want to do another transaction. It is 214.2. RMB is Chinese currency. Can you see different rates under 5 days in one administration and in one system and in one thing that I'm dealing on? How do I benchmark my price of my assets? Now, these guys who are in
Okay, I'm not sure.
You can always call back and maybe change his location.
Yes. It will make more sense. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Big Fob Michael.
Okay, Big Fob Michael. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sᴜᴜ.
Okay, good to have you on the show today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Victor Achibong, Mr. Fuad, and the rest.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I want to talk about the grazing, whatever, the livestock ministry. I think it's not necessary. This just goes to shows the lack of leadership we have and lack of structure. You see, this thing is just a question of the president having the willpower to do the right thing. I think the structure is all there. We have the Ministry of Agric. You understand? Why the necessity to go and create a new ministry? I mean, this is coming after the 𝐴ᴏ report was submitted and the recommendations, is being implemented. There's no need for this. We are just trying to waste money. I mean, of recent, I saw a viral picture on the internet, of the Nigerian Army and School of Islamic Affairs. I mean, these are how the ways we go around spending money on unnecessary things. These are things that are supposed to be a personal. Talking about livestock development, this is business of people. This is a sector whereby you can even generate money from individuals. I mean, why are you trying to create a ministry? I mean, it's something the Ministry of Agric can tackle headlong. I think the president is just trying to rob the palms of other, elites.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you. Thank you very much. 09136000410. They would also check some of your messages on Facebook. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Mickey was calling from Saja.
You're welcome.
Okay, how's everything?
Good, and you?
Yeah, I'm very good. And I'm obviously enjoying this. My question is that when will we ever enjoy democracy in this part of the world? Because looking at the just intra-party election, that is what is heading to the Supreme Court. Intra-party. So now, what do you say of the real election itself? So that is, you see, the problem is just like what he said, is the arrogance of our politicians. What does it cost Obaseki? Allow this man to contest. You know that he's going nowhere. Just to prove that you are the governor. That is the problem. Now, both at the state level, federal level, local government level, anyone that is voted in, when they come to power, then politics starts immediately at the expense of good governance. Every decision they take is to consolidate for the next election. That is where we have problem. And now, when they consolidate for the next election, when they come in at the second time, what happens is that is when they are masked away, because they are not speaking for any other election. So there's a problem in this country. Except we have the right people in this country at least to participate in politics. But if in this crop of people, we have a very long way to go.
Thank you very much, 𝐷𝐾. Victor, you probably have to help us with some Facebook messages, but
yes, quickly.
Let's pick this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Right.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome, Mr. Lakunle.
Yeah, livestock. Presently, we have farmer header clash problem. We don't have enough beef problem. We don't have enough goat problem. We don't have enough fish problem. We don't have enough. So don't we even think that there's a need for us to look at what we have been doing before and find a new way around it? Since 1999, we've had this farmer header clash. Everything that has been thrown, even the kitchen sink has been thrown into this problem. Yet we continue to play ethnic and religious sentiments around a whole lot of things. National Livestock Transformation Plan effected. State said no way, they won't. Ruga effected. State way. Now they are removing livestock from the ministry, trying to put it aside. Is there a need for that? I would want to believe that with the enormous potentials that we have in livestock, and livestock goes beyond cattle, there's so much along the range. We can make so much of it. I don't think it's probably going to be that expensive, because I would think that if Kyari was that good enough, we should have been able to manage it.
True.
If we had probably someone like an 𝐷𝐾, who is a man that knows so much, but probably they've seen that it may not be able to handle it, so they need to pull it out. I would believe that we need a true practitioner in livestock to be able to handle that ministry. Bring out people from the Ministry of Agriculture and all of that, put them there so that they will work together and be able to make this place revenue generating, and we'll be able to make much more money on it. And those who are so religious, who think that piggery is also a very good business. There are porks, there are all of that there. There's so much money to be. So we need to start looking at things dispassionately. If we say we don't want, what do we want? Let's give government, if we feel we have better ideas, let's give to government and tell them what we want them.
Thank you.
Because we should continue to condemn.
Sorry, wait. But Mr. Kalakule, you talked about the ethnic sentiment, religious sentiment that has made every other plan not work. Are you saying this ministry would solve the problem of ethnic and religious sentiment?
What I'm trying to tell you, my brother, is that when you bring out livestock from the other ministry, it shows us that this ministry on its own can give us what we are looking at in terms of generation.
I understand you, but what of the issues of ethnic and religious sentiment? Would the ministry cancel it? Yes.
You are not going to any day, anytime, anywhere in this our country.
Yes.
We would always input it in. But what matters the most to me, sir, is that if we get this thing working and we can see it right, then I feel the people that might be affected by that would have reason to, rather than complain, join them in moving these things forward. Thank you very much for us.
Thank you very much. I think we should check our Facebook page. Victor, lead us into that. That session.
Yeah, we're streaming live on Facebook, and that is at Mainland 98.3 FM. We have messages here. This particular person said PDP cannot do anything to Chief Dan Obieh because he is weak. He's right-hand man. As for the primary, Obaseki caused everything by locking out some delegates during the primary election. PDP may not have candidates in this this Edo election. That is coming from John, and John is actually sending that message from Ijaniki. This other person says, good afternoon, crew. Mr. Fuad will not... he said last week it was creation of states, and also today it is the creation of more ministry. He is indeed the true son of Lagos. The moment I overheard the creation of that livestock, I just know it's just settled, and of course to make some juggernauts in the north to be happy. Now Tochukwuti is giving this message saying, good afternoon. It is right that it is just to win elections again in 2027 and capture the political system, just like Fuad has articulated that it will mean erection of many more agencies, commissions, parastatals, more budgeting allowances, and of course oligarchical luxuries, plus the...
I already read that. So.
Okay, I think that was in the...
That was the text. It came in as a text.
It came in as a text. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's just go leave that one alone. Fuad, sorry. Check message there.
Okay, 0913-600-0410. Let's get the conversation going, and let me talk to our next caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Kenny from Mushin.
I'm struggling to hear you.
The reception is very poor.
Can you just change?
Kenny from Mushin.
Mr. Kenny.
Oh. Yeah, but then we're still
struggling.
It's very poor.
We're still struggling. Just call back. We still have about 25 minutes or thereabout to say our goodbyes on the show. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
your name and where you calling from?
Yes, my name is Madam Solau.
Welcome.
Okay, I heard you saying that the cattle, they are not Nigerian, but they are building their economy. If I'm right.
But they're not
Salah,
human beings.
do cattle vote?
Sir?
Do cattle vote? Do they have franchise?
Do they have franchise by how? No, they are not vote. Quite all right. But
Okay.
the vote that you are voting, the ballot was printed with money. Is it also? Can you go to ballot without ballot paper?
So should we now say the crude oil in Bielsa is also Nigerian?
We should vote per barrel.
It's Nigerians now. Are you not crying now that you are not meeting your copy? You are not meeting your upper quota.
Let's go, Madam Salah.
What next one day? Can you be a surgeon without any Jesus whatever?
So what are you trying to say, Madam Salah?
Exactly.
Let's get
What
into
I'm
it.
trying to say, what the point I'm trying to make, simple. You understand? I'm not a funny man, as you know. But you know what? People are covering under this statement, committing a lot of atrocities. We are trying to label some certain group of people as a criminals, for they have no value. You understand? I don't care. The issue of livestock ministry, that is another thing together. I'm just telling you what is there. You understand? The livestock ministry will never settle either farmers' crisis at all. It will never settle any. We only settle some boys anyway. They will never be. Either it will add more problems. First of all, they want to see who will be that minister of that livestock ministry. Can be a flying man or another thing. That is another issue of your own. You understand? So the crisis that I always tell you, Oga Fuad, that I never believe that the issue of food security has to do with farmers and headers. Oga Fuad, you serve in Taraba. For long, Taraba and Benue, they have problem with Jukuna.
They've been fighting.
They have been fighting even before headers, and headers are there before. And okay, you live in Plateau. You know, we have different crises in Plateau now. Insecurity in Plateau. In fact, there was a time even I was head of Maja. And nobody has stand to be corrected. And Plateau ever says that the headers are caused that problem. No, it's religion crisis. If you move to even Southern, the 1987, there was this issue of Zaman Lokot now. Can we call it even a genocide? Which even a judge from the South, Yoruba man judge, even sent him to death because of his involvement. So those crises are there, and they will not go away. Because when I raise up, this is Lagos, Oga Fuad, please give me time. This is like generating over 40 trillion, whatever. You know why? Lagos is a place where you come to drive. Nobody cares.
Look at, you understand? So what makes what makes Southwest appear local progress is that when you come, you progress, you excel, and they make something from you. The other in opposite side, you go to some places, they say you come to collect their land, you come to collect their estate. You can see, you understand? And for fuel, whatever, for fuel, I've told you, Oga, for long ago, or you or Sandra, I told you that Malam Salah, I never believed that we are all producing country. We are not all producing country because nobody will fund one thing, a water of fuel, that this oil, this well is for him, only and his family. This is the only country I see that some group of people sat down and shared this oil with themselves. And he say he make $500 million. You don't know how to spend on it. This day newspaper have carried that. He make it open. You understand?
All right,
thank you very much.
Remain this kind of mess forever. Okay, thank you.
We are going to find out. We are going to find.
Okay, there's this very interesting message here on Facebook. It says Nigerians complain as if Fulani are the only tribe rearing cow. Yoruba Igbo are rearing cow too. If we complain of food scarcity because of farmers, the easier job to do today is to be a government critic, and you will be in good book of the Nigerian government.
Against the people criticizing you, to say that just criticizing you unfairly. So if a government is doing their job, they shouldn't be worried or scared of criticism. It is part of what democracy offers us. We have the right to express our thoughts.
Very true.
The governance structure that we have is not set up in isolation. It is set up to administer governance on a certain people. So if you don't enjoy what governance should give you, you have the right to speak up.
That's your right.
Yes,
that's just your right.
It's as simple as that. Very great.
Let me quickly take this one here again. This one says, as Nigerians, we have refused to see livestock farming as part of agriculture. Crop farmers get their land cleared, get seedlings, get fertilizers, irrigation, infrastructure, get loans, get tractors hired for them, but livestock farmers get nothing. The little support the government tries to render to them is politicized and colored with ethnic tones. If separating livestock from crop production will lead to major boost in the sector in terms of meat, milk, eggs, pasture, veterinary support, and even investment, then let's have it. We cannot always learn and unlearn. Okay, he said, all right, the man is the man who continues to do the same thing for 60 years and expects a different result. I would like to see how states can ramp up livestock production the same way they focus on crop production, cow, goat, poultry, etc., and smallholder level. I would also love to use fisheries completely separated, especially at state and LG. The global industry is worth 700 billion. That's coming from Kunle Kayode.
Yes, that WG Peter says Mainland FM School of Factual Politics. Thank you. Akonji Benjamin today says good afternoon to everyone in the studio. Interesting conversation you're having. Mr. Olumide Apata should use this opportunity to win the election. Okay, I mean Mr. Olumide Apata is the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate in Edo State. Let's get back to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Oh, no, we got to a bit late.
Yeah.
Up again, Mr. Bello. Good afternoon. Okay, a bit late as well. Let me read some of your messages here. This one says, concerning the Samoa deal, it is clear that this government has allowed it as a no. Even the NBA come out to release a statement in respect to the Samoa deal.
There's nothing.
Let's just move on from there.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Okwe.
You're welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
The three general. My name is Samuel, calling you from Ikeja.
Mr. Samuel, you're welcome to Mainland FM.
Yes, you have forgotten me, Okwe. You have forgotten me. I'm still expecting your invitation from my state.
From Nasarawa State.
Yes. Okay. Don't forget me. I'm still expecting.
Maybe we'll work on that on Friday when we have a little less to do on the situation room. I'll work something out for you. I'll work something out for you.
Yes. Oga Fuad, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, let me say something. Oga Fuad, you know my stand. Since the inception of this current administration, you know my point. I told you from the beginning that this is a government, you understand, that is just like a driver, you understand, driving and he's using a Google map. You understand? And that driver is using the wrong Google map. That is what we are seeing today. So I am not surprised with all these things that are happening. You understand? When you are there, you came in as a president of a country, and you are not there to solve our problem. Rather, you want to create more problems for us, just to compensate people. You understand? It's just based on compensation. There is no any good intention that this is what I want to do. I want to solve this problem. There is no any intention on that. It's just to compensate people. You understand? That is the same thing that we do to this issue of insecurity, where we were just giving amnesty to people. You understand? To compensate them, thinking maybe we are solving the problem. Meanwhile, we don't even know that we are creating more problems. You can see where we find ourselves now. Instead of even to look at the issue critically and say, okay, this is my point. This is what I want to do. Now, you are creating a ministry, another new ministry, and the same person, the same government is telling us that they don't have money. And you now say in the first in history of this country, you have over 50 ministers. And what are they doing? Nothing. You are creating another ministry now. You will still have a minister to head that ministry again. And you are saying that you want to implement O괰 report. What is the recommendation on that report? And now you are creating another ministry. Instead of even merging some ministry, now you are creating another one. And the same supporter of this government will come out and be shouting, will say, celebrating it. We say, yes, it's doing the right thing, the right step in the right direction. Let us continue deceiving ourselves. As far as I'm concerned, we are moving nowhere. We are just beating around the bush. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. We've got loads of messages to also read here. This one says, good afternoon. The solution to... okay, let me go through this one real quick. The calls are coming in. Okay, the solution to all our problems in Nigeria lies with the... Okay. It's a lie with the OAPs and the DJs because they have mutual benefit with all of the journalists. I don't know what that means, but it's okay. Let me go back to the phone lines, then we'll go to the Facebook page now. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Oh, okay, you're not ready to talk to us. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, this is Solomon calling from Bariga.
Mr. Solomon.
Yes, sir. You see, this government don't really know what they are doing. They created more ministry. My advice to Nigerians, you will not be frustrated. Whatever you see, they let them create special ministry. Fine, they can't finish Nigeria. We have money. There's money in this country. They are deceiving us. There's no money. There's money in this country. And what is giving them all this audacity to do all these things? Because of our judiciary, our legislature, our electoral process is zero. Then our security is zero. If these three TSAs are very strong enough, nobody can dare Nigerians. Because what they are actually doing is for themselves alone. But I believe that one day will come that all these things will stop. Ranch is there. The first bill of ranches, they are still pending that bill. Because when they created ranches, that ranch will help everybody, both the farmer and the headers. There will not be clash between them. But because those people that move around with those cows, there are external forces among them. How I believe in Fulani people. Fulani that I know is not a bandit. He didn't carry guns. He only carry a one stick and a cutlass. Just because of either beasts in the bush that was attacking, but because there are external forces. Now our security intelligence have to work on that. Really, I'm telling you the truth.
Thank you.
All the people of this country is surrounded by terrorists. So that's my...
Thank you very much for gradually coasting home. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. And in case you joined us a bit late, start off this conversation by 1 p.m. And then we'll get to do this every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. We've talked about a whole lot of issues. The PDP gubernatorial issue in Edo State. We've also looked at the announcement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to create the Ministry of Livestock Development. We've talked about it as well. We've also talked about the constant position of state governors on the issue of the autonomy of local government. Hello, Prince Myers.
I don't join you lately. I joined you from the beginning.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I greet all of you.
Greet you, Prince Myers.
Thank you, sir.
I'm best all of you. You see, let me say one thing. If democracy is in this country,
opposition will never praise you when you are doing good. They will always look out for your below expectation. So, it now, for me, I always challenge and try to decide when necessary. What last minute before
Prince Wise,
yes.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Maybe you try and change your location a bit. We're struggling
to run out from where I am now. Let me run out now.
Okay. Are you at the farm?
It's fine. He's in Lagos.
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm in Lagos right now.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has taken the decision that will bring a lot of pain to Nigeria. That is taking off the subsidy. And if we do not take this subsidy, I'm telling you, Nigeria will still remain where we are. Where we burn a lot of money, where we service our budget, we borrow 90% borrow money to service our budget. So for me, this decision taking, I know it's very painful. The last ministry that this man have now, for me, I always talk about this before. I say we don't need more than ministers. But now, we are having about 48 now. We is too large. But what can we do? What can I do? For me, as the man is creating that ministry, moment will not give advice when necessary. And for today, the president, the one they are talking about now, I want Mr. President to make sure if this ministry can tackle security, the problem between the herdsmen and the farmers, if it can go down the drain, I'll be very happy because I want this government to succeed. If this man succeeds, it is we the farmer that succeed. So today, Mr. President, please, don't listen to your opponents. You can listen to them, but they will never wish you well. Even though we support her, doesn't say they don't want anything good for this government, and the government will still remain in power for complete 3 years. We didn't expect any good thing from them. Why we wish your country bad? We bought this democracy from America. America, when they wake up in the morning, they will God bless America. That's what it's to say. The development of this country, the building of Nigeria, start from me and you. Our problem we try to talk with, even though when my say Emefiele now say this man told our man, some people say now only Emefiele you see Nigeria. So for them, the supporter of other parties, they will never win the government to succeed. But we the supporter, we love it, we want him to succeed. That we will criticize when necessary.
Thank you, Prince Wise.
I will stop there by saying, may God bless Nigeria, my country.
And God bless you too, Prince Wise. Victor, do we have some new messages on Facebook?
Yeah, I have just one message here that I can see from my own end. Yeah, this one says that they started by disbursing over 95 billion naira Nigerian money to Muslim pilgrims going abroad for personal worship to the isolation of other faith. Okay, and then it says again, okay, continue by saying that now they are creating a ministry for headers for those doing their personal business to the exclusion of other business citizens. Is that democracy or one Nigeria? This is coming from Patrick Obiazo.
Okay, more messages. Hello, good afternoon. Let's pick calls again.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kwame.
You're welcome.
Mr. Fuad and the other gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
This is Tayo calling from Oba.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah. I listened to one of the professors, Tayo from Oba, on the livestock development. I listened to one of the professors today on another program for about 40 minutes. He said, Burkina Faso, livestock is contributing 50% of their GDP. Senegal, in the whole of West Africa, it's only Nigeria that livestock is contributing less than 10% to our GDP. Less than 10%. He said, if with this thing they are going to do, by the time they do it, it might be contributing to nothing less. They are targeting nothing less than 50% of our GDP. So let's give them a chance. It's too early to condemn it. Let's just give them a chance and let's see. Argentina there, who is not eating corned beef? Argentina corned beef all around the world. So let's see if we too can develop our own and take care of ourselves, and we can be exporting it too. Thank you. Have a nice.
Thank you very
week.
much, and also have a beautiful
sir.
week ahead for yourself. This one says, "Good afternoon, guys. In the studio, there is no punishment for any offense being committed. That is why all we do. That is why they do all they do, and they go scot-free. So we should stop building strong men and start building strong institutions and stringent punishment for offenders." That's Dennis from Ikorodu. This one says, "Good afternoon. Do not be amazed at the creation of the livestock ministry, because they have virtually turned ministers of the gospel as it is holy and super books. It is empty as usual because there is no sincere intentions for effectiveness and efficiency. What is happening is to create another drain pipe for the use of oligarchy, a few that have captured the state. To these oligarchs, the strength of Nigeria is no longer our abilities to defend our teeming population as propounded by Adam Smith in his Wealth for All Nation. Mr. B comes and uproots crops planted by Mr. A at lower prices which are germinating, and plants his own crops at higher prices, which would also be uprooted by Mr. C to plant his own crops at higher prices. And by the time the crops reach the people, now only the oligarchies can buy the final expensive crops. This cropping philosophy of the oligarchy is true because neither Mr. A, B, or C would plant without making sure that sensitive ratios of crop proceeds end in the individual bank accounts of this few. To take example, in Lagos, former Governor Tinubu launched the BRT buses. Former Governor Fashola launched the very first blue BRT buses. Then former Governor Ambode floated the more expensive blue BRT buses. But the current Governor Sanwo-Olu has launched his own blue BRT buses, even with Uber rides. Okay. Thank you very much. This is Tochukwu Adele from Thompson. Okay. Sorry from Obanikoro. More calls. Hello, good afternoon.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Thank you for calling back.
Thank you. So what I was saying is this. These guys always give us something to discuss and to, manipulate our mindset, take us off from what is keeping the entrepreneurs up. The exchange rate and the ease of doing business is very troublesome in Nigeria. These are the people who told us that they want to implement or not report. That's about 3 months ago. And all of us know the content of that very report. The same people turn around right now, using another ministry so that we can be talking. And some of their supporters right now are telling us that they mean well. Let us just oppose it with what Buhari did with his first administration, which will lock up the border. And Nigeria, the rice we are used to buy for 7,000. It will rise to 40-something thousand. And they told us that we are going to be food sufficient by the end of the day. And we have our patience waiting to see the end. They always tell us that there will always be light at the end of the tunnel. By the end of the day, they gave us rice pyramid, jamboree. By the end of the day, you see what is going on in Nigeria right now. After we have waited patiently for 8 years, it's a week by the end of the day. Now they are creating another ministry to start giving our money, to start quantizing every county again. And they are asking us to wait. We shouldn't speak. We shouldn't talk. When the business environment is dying. You see the guy who called you people on the mainland focus this morning, the first guy that called, that's the regional manager. The job of 47 people is only 7 people doing it. 40 people have been laid off. That is what is going on in all the companies right now in Nigeria. You can take it out. And that is not the truth. So anybody who is supporting telling that they are not we that is criticizing constructively, telling the government what to do, that we are not in a good place. We are not patriotic citizens. But people are dying. But people are losing jobs. People are losing hope. People do not know the economic direction, just like as I'm telling you guys, what happened to me in my business just in 3, 4, 5
Thank you.
For transaction. Then how do I make progress? How do I move?
Thank
how
you.
Nigerian economy going to move forward? It's unfortunate that they are getting mobility. It's unfortunate.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you for all of the calls and all of the messages. Okay, I think we can still squeeze in one more call. This person I've been calling. Hello, good evening, Prince.
Yeah, I think I'm very fortunate.
Very fortunate. You are the last call for the show this week.
Well, yes, the last best anyway. We are praying that the government will succeed by God's grace, because nobody prays that something else should happen.
Sure.
We want the progress of this nation. It doesn't matter who's on the throne. Right? But the issue is that, personally speaking, I have the strong confidence that somebody like Bola Ahmed Tinubu has what it takes to move the nation forward. Having governed Lagos State, one of the most prosperous states in Nigeria, and a former senator. But honestly, I'm not all that satisfied with his level of boldness to move the ship of state forward. Now, coming to this issue of creation of animal husbandry development or Ministry of Livestock Development, and I think it's somehow political to a great extent, and the swiftness of it, and the way a match was done, without debate at National Assembly, just overnight, we just had that a ministry has been created, maybe to appease and pacify a certain group of people. It's highly questionable.
Thank you. We're really pressed for time. No money
for minimum wage, no money for, what about Southeast now? The South Development Commission.
Thank you. I just have to let you go. The conversation continues today by 4 o'clock in the Situation Room. Join Mobola Sandra as she would be hosting Mr. Deyemi Saka on the issue of flood-prone states. Yes, I mean, it's one thing we're not even paying attention to right now. So I will continue this conversation by 4 o'clock in the Situation Room. Victor, it's been an amazing time.
Absolutely.
A new week, new conversation, and we'll keep it going.
Well, the only thing that Nigerians are just asking for is accountable governance. If you can have that, and we have it as transparent as it can be, everything is good to go. And we just hope, the governors will give Nigerians what they're actually asking for.
And the good thing is that Nigerians don't even ask for too much.
At
we
all.
just want good governance, we want accountability and a good way of life.
That's all.
Keep me safe and keep me secure.
It's so sad that we are now ranked 102 in the world as the happiest people, and that simply means what? So that we are very sad.
Me, I'm happy. David Eke, thank you very much. I got some message. Daniel Ogunwale, I got some message on Facebook as well. We can't read them, unfortunately. Thank you so much to everyone, all of your calls, a whole lot of them, your messages. We appreciate you. Keep it a day with us next week, Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. Side Forward. And Victor and I would be back to take you through the world of politics in the midweek politics. By 3 o'clock, it's going to be The Buzz with Kunle Daniels and BB, and every other conversation continues. My name is Oꞌ Akande. Victor, thank you very much for being a part of the conversation today.
My pleasure.
We'll keep it going.
Sure.
We'll join you next week.
Absolutely.